To have the Everglades so close by to me is really, really special to me, and it's a place that, you know, you go there and get to almost step back into time that this is Florida, man. It's what it's all about, and it's what I love to call home, and it's a really, really special, unique place that hasn't changed in millions of years and hopefully never does. I wanted to get the houseboat, go down into the Everglades, tow the skiffs, and specifically target laid up tarpon. This is where all the fish have been apparently, around Round Key. You can't even post it up inside of this, like on this spit right here.
Damn, that'd be gnarly.
Through a couple phone calls with buddies of mine who guide down there, I got in touch with Jorge Martinez. My buddies told me he's a really, really good fly fisherman and a great marine artist. I was familiar with his artwork. I also, through our friends, I found out that, you know, George and I grew up literally like 20 minutes, half an hour apart. He grew up in Punta Gorda, I grew up in Fort Myers.
You get people from all these different backgrounds, all these different interests and nationalities, whatever it might be, but once you get on that, you know, 17 feet of fiberglass, if you guys share that same craziness, passion, it just kind of kills everything, and you feel like you've known that person forever.
It was, you know, cool to me. I talked to him, we started talking, we had this connection. We're like, oh, you know, so-and-so, and we had all these mutual friends, and it was just funny that after, you know, 30 plus years and fishing the same water and growing up in the same area, the two of us end up connecting because of fishing, now that he lives 150 miles away from me.
So I get a call from my buddy Jeff Legutke about one of his buddies was going into the Everglades to do this cool, you know, mothership trip on a houseboat, and asked me if I was willing to come along, and I took on, you know, I said, yeah, I would go. And
you know, it was cool. George was all about it. He's like, man, I don't have a bunch of time. I could come down in the afternoon, crash in a houseboat and fish the next day, and then I'd have to be back.
You know, Chris picks me up at the ramp, and we go scooting around in this lake and bay going 60 miles an hour through these tight creeks, and I was kind of freaking out a little bit, and then we come across this open bay, and there's this houseboat shining in the distance.
Ran back to the houseboat, and we already had it moved down south, and cool little spot, man, like a little bay, spit of sand coming off of it, just super cool spot. Like you see it and you're like, we should camp there, you know? Cook up some food, you know, I think we cooked up burgers and just kind of hung out on the beach there and visited and talked about fishing.
You rarely get the chance to spend the night in the Everglades, you know, so these mothership trips kind of give you a feel of what that place is like after dark when the sun goes down, and gives you a different feel of the whole Everglades, you know, just staying the night out there. And
Wild Instinct Outdoors is in partnership with Ray Marine. Go hunting underwater with Ray Marine.
George and I headed out the next morning, and you know, the conditions weren't ideal, and that's the thing with fishing and with the outdoors, is it really is a lot to do with the conditions. Hopefully the wind will lay down. It's down now, but hopefully it'll stay down. You know what I mean? Neither one of us fish down there on a daily basis, so we both have a very good idea and instinctual about where fish should be and what they should be doing, but ultimately we're fishing blind. So covering ground, and the water was really dirty. You know, and George really only had the one day we could fish, so it was kind of like we just had to keep moving in hopes that we found something that we could pattern.
The Everglades to me is it's kind of like an unanswered question. Like, you could be fishing a spot and always want to know what's around the corner, what's around at the next spot, you know, and like some of the guys that fish there on an everyday basis will tell you, you know, that the conditions are everything to do with that game, especially in Chokoloskee, where on the days that we fished, we had a lot of wind coming in from offshore, and we had an incoming tide. If you fish there, you know that incoming tide from a couple days of it blowing, you know, 20 knots, that water coming in was gonna be straight milk. That's why we had to wait it out, and we had the opportunity midday when the wind kind of laid down, the water dropped a little bit, and we were able to go and pull these bays that earlier in the day we couldn't get it done because the water was up high, the fish were laying on the bottom.
We get into this pocket, up in the corner is this snook waking around, pushing up around, super shallow. It's to the right.
He ate it, but he missed it. Son of a...
We moved down the shore a little farther, and here comes a wake and a kind of a pressure and a rise in the water. We could tell it was a fish right there in front of you. That's a poon. There you go, come on. Strip, 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 strip. Stick him. Yeah, buddy. Oh my God. He's on it, he's on it.
Dude, I couldn't go anywhere. I was all the way back here like this.
He's outside your fly, 5 feet. Right there, strip. Right there. He's following me. Oh my God, dude, that was a big fish too, bro. George is already back here stripping, literally ready to just kind of pick up and make another cast. And he had nowhere to go. So the fish eats and he's kind of back here with nothing, and it eats it and just never had any way to come tight. So the fish kind of blows out past us. But now we've got this corner that we know is facing a certain direction and is off of a deep water river that's you know, pushing water up into it. So now we've got something that we can pattern.
Wild Instinct Outdoors is in partnership with Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. The American Barrels, live free or die, a true American spirit.
You know, as we work down, we work probably 200 or 300 yards without seeing anything. And then bam, get into a little pocket, very similar to the first one. And there's a tarpon laying there facing into the shore, broadside to us, just motionless, sleeping.
We pulled in there quietly, you know, Chris set me up, and we came up and the fish was broadside to us. And, you know, in that Everglades water, you know, they're just sitting there and the water's dirty, so the fly has to be, you know, in a certain spot. And I made a conservative cast, which was a little too far. I was able to adjust and pick it up and slide it over his head, and it was like a bear trap.
That's it. Toast. Come on, fish.
Are you sure
forward.
He's facing right, dude.
Huh?
He's facing right. Turn me.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
All right.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure that's his tail, dude. I can see him.
All right.
I can see him pretty good. Yeah.
All right, bro. True test of the trident right here.
There he goes. Stick him. Nice, brother. Nice, dude. Good job, bro.
Good job on the spot, bro.
Sick eat.
It was, dude.
Man, look how close you had to get to him.
And to get a reaction.
Yeah, I mean, the first time it went 2 feet in front of him, and he just didn't even, nice. Didn't even react. That one literally went over his nose.
It had to, bro.
I'll stake us out and get down and give you a hand. Good job, George. Good?
Oh, he's good. You ready?
I'm ready. Ready if you are.
I'll flip him for you. I'm gonna bring him to you, float it up, pop the boat.
Negative.
You got him?
No. Got him.
Good job, Pierce. Good job, Captain.
Dude. Dang.
We had to work, 9th inning, bro.
Worked hard for that one. Hard for that one, brother.
That's good enough, dog.
I'll take it.
That's good
Great job,
enough.
brother. Great job.
Thank you, bro.
That's what it's all about. We picked it apart, we figured it out, we got tight, and all the pieces came together, and we got a beautiful fish to the boat.
As a fish artist and a fly fisherman and someone that lives this lifestyle and the culture, I basically look at my paintings as storytelling, and it's kind of it's almost like storytelling with a conservation, because I'm conserving moments of my fishing on canvas that, you know, due to population and fishing pressure, might not be the same in the next 20 years or the next 15 years. So I feel like art, the whole fly fishing to me is an art form, whether it's fly tying, the casting is an art, and the painting also is, you know, that's like my final release of my images and all this stuff that I take visually while I'm sight fishing. I paint more for my angling experience, and I think that's my little niche in the art world, you know, is that I portray the fish in their natural habitat, you know, chasing the right type of bait or the right fly or whatever the setup is that I'm trying to, you know, portray in the picture.
George had to take off. I had paddle boards on the boat, decided I was gonna throw a paddle board on the skiff and go run around and see if I could get one on the paddle board, which I've never tried before. I spent the day paddling, getting a feel for trying to paddle this paddleboard down a shoreline without spooking fish, still seeing the fish, and it was kind of like a comedy of errors. I'm working down the shoreline, and literally 10 feet in front of me, all of a sudden I see like a 120-pound beast floating under the water, like a foot and a half under the water. So suddenly I'm like backpedaling with the paddleboard, trying to get from being on top of this fish. I make a cast, and I'm sure, and sure enough, this thing comes up and eats, and eats coming straight at me. And I straight up trout set this tarpon. I mean, I admit it. And the fly comes flying out of its mouth. There's nothing there. I'm backpedaling, and to the great pleasure of my crew, I ended up in the drink.
Wild Instinct Outdoors is in partnership with XS Sight Systems, the fastest sights in any light. Boatmaster Trailers, the name that represents quality.
Next morning, Bill came out, and I hopped on his skiff, and we headed out, you know, and stoked to get a couple days to fish together. It's a rarity.
My name's Bill Faulkner. I'm a native Floridian. I've lived in Naples, Florida for 44 years. I've been guiding Everglades National Park since 1999, 16 years. I specialize really in fly fishing, probably 220 days a year of fly fishing.
He had an area where he knew we could get some shots at some fish out towards the outside. So we ran out there, and sure enough, they weren't laid up fish. They were rollers, but there was a good amount of fish in this area.
It ended up probably 2 hours of casting the rolling tarpon. I mean, Chris must have put the fly in front of 20 or 30 fish. Absolute perfect presentations, and not one of them responded to any of the flies we threw. I mean, we must have changed flies 2 or 3 times, and it just didn't seem like it was Chris's day to catch one.
I kind of stepped down. I was like, you know, I need to get a drink. Of course, I jump up on the pulling platform. I've been making shots at fish for the last 2 hours, and Bill steps up front, just blind cast, not even at any fish. He's stripping the line in, literally getting ready to pick up to make another cast, and boom, he comes tight, and rocketing up out of the water comes a tarpon. Get tight, get tight. Yeah, buddy. Were you getting ready to pick up, or did you feel him eat?
No, I was getting ready to pick up, and I felt it tight.
Right.
You know
and
what I
you
mean?
just like came tight on him. That was funny. That was sick. Probably been a while since you got to pull on one, huh?
It's the first one all year.
First one this year?
Yeah. And
Sweet.
it's what, the middle of June?
I love that. Nice. Look at the mud, dude. He belly flopped on the shore.
Yeah, he almost.
It might be just that tide starting to pull in, because I mean, we've been throwing at these fish for, what?
90 minutes.
Yeah. Over an hour, hour and a half. Had good shots.
To be honest with you, I think I prefer it on the back of the boat, brother. I don't have to do any
Heavy
fighting,
lifting.
any heavy lifting. Oh, it
Ooh.
came out. Look at that.
Pulled. Good stuff. Good job, dude.
That's typical.
See?
Hook just pulled.
Yeah.
He was hooked, I could see. He was just barely hooked right outside the,
Clipper.
yeah, right outside the clipper.
Yeah. That's fun stuff, man. Good
Nice,
stuff,
brother.
dude.
Thanks for pulling me.
Heck yeah.
It was obvious the tide was starting to get high. We needed to keep moving. We needed to move further south, sort of follow the tide down south, and look for some snook on the, on the higher water.
We pulled into this cove and the wind had laid down, and I mean, it was hot, completely slicked out calm. And within a few seconds, we knew that Bill had made the right call. I mean, the fish were erupting underneath this shoreline in about a 100-yard stretch or 70-yard stretch that it was like fireworks were going off under there. There's a little one, see him laid up?
Yep, floating right there. Just to the left. Oh, you got it. Nice, nice. Oh, that's a good fish.
That's a
That's
good
a
one.
different fish.
Yeah,
That's
it is a
bigger
different
fish.
one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Nice, brother.
That was
nice.
cool.
Nice.
Nice fish.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
That fish came probably 3 feet for that thing.
That's a nice fish, bro.
Yeah, good fish.
Come here, buddy. I got him.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about right there.
Heck yeah.
He's not huge, but that's one more year and that fish will spawn.
Yeah, absolutely.
One more year and that fish will spawn. Nice.
That was awesome.
See you, bud.
See you, buddy.
There were a couple instances where it was, hey, Chris, look at this fish laying on this bush right here. See him, dark, floating, facing left. And to be able to just watch him and try to predict where he's gonna go, try to get the bait in front of him and watch him come and eat it, there's just nothing like it.
Oh, look how far back in there that fish was.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh, did you see him ghost through there right behind the bait?
No. Took my eyes off it.
You see the big limb in the water? Throw one just to the right of it, right up to the right of where you just casted. You got the angle? Yes, yes.
There he is.
I saw him go through there, dude. Oh, that's a good one. Nice one, brother.
That's a better fish right there.
Yeah.
That's one of those bigger ones we heard eating. I like how you got the bigger ones trained to swim out.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was. Look at that. That's a nice fish.
Careful,
Right,
that's
look
only
how,
40
like-
pound. He wants to wear through that.
Look how like sporadic
Yeah.
the color is though. You
Look
think
how
you're-
beat up he is from chasing bait into the...
Yeah, into the roots.
He's so beat up from chasing bait into the limbs. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Dude. Nice fish, bro.
$27-incher.
Let's do it, dude. It's hot.
It's enough.
Go get the houseboat packed up and head back. Call it a successful trip to the Everglades. Thanks, brother.
You're welcome, brother.
Always fun. I got to fish with somebody for the first time, with George for the first time. Got to meet him, get to know him, and fish with such a great angler as him is really cool. Got to spend a couple days on the water with a good buddy of mine, Faulkner. catch fish, and do it all in the Everglades in a setting that, you know, is one of my favorite places on earth. So it was an experience. It's one of those experiences that, you know, when those happen, they're few and far between, but when they do, man, they're really, really special, and they leave you, you know, looking forward to the next time for sure.